Hello. So happy to share with you another episode of Shriji's Musings. Actually, I was just wondering, when we do research or when we ponder deep into certain topics which apparently sound similar, or at least they are similar in the nature, we have a doubt in ourselves if we are trying to force fit our bias into that. And during those situations, when we have to be objective on concluding certain things, what we have to do is to critically analyze where all the similarities actually exist and can be proven to exist, and where all they don't exist, or where all the differences are there. Now, this takes me to actually one of the trainings that are given to us during our school time. I really wonder how many of us actually realize that that training actually helps us do it when we are critically analyzing something. When we are in our school, probably around class 2, class 3, that was how it was when I was doing class 2, class 3, we are asked to write differences. So we'll have to make some 5 sentences or something. So there will be 2 things that we are asked to differentiate, and we need to write the differences between those 2 things. Now if I think of it, like for example, maybe write 5 differences between a monogoat and a digoat, something of that sort, right? Now maybe difference between plants and animals, something of that sort. These are questions that we are asked during our school time, and we are trained to differentiate between the 2. But after growing up, now when I realize, I truly feel that training that was imparted to us during our school times is highly useful today, because that has trained our mind to actually critically look into points that are having a commonality, and then trying to differentiate the 2 entities that we are focusing on. Like for example, even the example that I spoke of or recalled, if I say someone has to differentiate between plant and animals, then what do? We look into the movability aspect. Plants can't move, animals can. And in terms of food, plants usually make their own food by photosynthesis, animals can't. So we have different criterions, and under those criterions we tend to differentiate the 2 entities that we are looking onto, right? I think so this training is very crucial even in research. When we think 2 things are similar, and then we actually try to prove it or prove it otherwise, then we look into the aspects that we would like to compare for and get into the nitty-gritties of it. So one of my friends had very beautifully posted yesterday, the learning that we have during our school time as well as the university time is actually not a training on to the subject itself merely. It is actually, the learning is a training to learn. It is a training to develop the faculties that are required for thinking and adding our part to various professions that we may take up during our life. Thank you for your patience and interest in listening to this.